The docking clamps finished their complaint with a shudder that ran through the command deck, and I took that as my cue to stop pretending this was a routine assignment. The flagship's AI politely informed me that the atmosphere beyond the airlock was breathable, hostile, ceremonial, and statistically judgmental. I told it to stop being dramatic. It replied that it had learned drama from observing organic life. The doors opened, and the Queen was already there. She stood alone, no honor guard, no banners, just a tall figure with long ears swept back like she was listening to the universe itself. The scars were impossible to miss. They crossed her face, her arms, even the side of her neck, pale against darker skin. My tactical HUD tried to tag them as threats. I turned it off. It felt rude. "You're early," she said. Her voice was calm, steady, and entirely uninterested in my rank. "I like to make a bad first impression quickly," I said before my brain could file a formal response. Somewhere behind me, my lieutenant inhaled sharply. The Queen blinked once, then let out a sound that was definitely a laugh and not a threat assessment. "Human humor," she said. "I was told it was dangerous. Only to people with expectations." That seemed to amuse her more than it should have. She gestured, and the floor beneath us shifted, gravity realigning with a soft hum. Alien technology always did that, solving problems you hadn't noticed yet. We walked, our steps echoing through a hall that had clearly seen better centuries. Burn marks traced the walls. Repairs were functional, not pretty. "You know why the galaxy avoids us," she said, not looking at me. "They avoid lots of things," I replied. "Asteroids, honest conversations, meetings that could have been emails." She stopped and turned to face me. Up close, the scars were older than I'd thought. Some were smooth with age, others sharp with memory. Her long ears twitched slightly, like she was bracing for an insult she'd heard 1,000 times already. "They say I am broken," she said. I considered lying. Instead, I shrugged. "I've met broken leaders. They usually don't survive this long." Silence stretched, tense enough that my implant started offering calming breathing exercises. Then she smiled, just a little, just enough to make it dangerous. "You see honor in damage," she said. "I see evidence," I replied. "Unscarred rulers tend to hide behind other people." For a moment, the galaxy's prejudice pressed in on us, heavy and unspoken. Then alarms blared, sharp and insistent. The Queen's smile turned feral. "Pirates," she said. "They smell isolation." I grinned despite myself. Good, I was worried this trip would be boring. She drew a weapon that looked ceremonial until it powered up with a snarl of energy. "Commander," she said, scars catching the light, "try not to die. It would complicate my schedule." "No promises," I said, following her into battle, "but I'll do my best to remain inconvenient." The pirates arrived exactly the way pirates always did. Loud, confident, and deeply mistaken about their life expectancy. The first explosion rattled the palace shields, and the Queen didn't even flinch. She checked the charge on her weapon like someone confirming the time. "They'll try to board," she said. "They always think scars mean weakness." "I once lost a bar fight because of that assumption," I said, activating my rifle. "Guy had a limp. Turned out it was from carrying too many trophies." Her long ears angled toward me. "You talk during combat to distract yourself." "No," I said. "I talk during combat to distract everyone else." The ceiling irised open as defensive drones descended. Ancient machines patched with newer tech, like history refusing to die politely. My fleet linked in through my implant, feeds overlapping, enemy ships, firing vectors, probability curves that suggested we were outnumbered and underappreciated. Boarding pods slammed into the outer ring. The Queen moved first. She was fast, precise, every scar moving with her like a remembered lesson. When the first pirate came through the breach, she disarmed him with a twist that looked almost gentle, then dropped him unconscious with the butt of her weapon. I took out the second one, muttering apologies that no one asked for. "You fight like you've done this before," she said, covering my flank. "I read the manual," I replied, then ignored it creatively. More pirates poured in. My lieutenant yelled something tactical and unhelpful over the comms. I muted him. The Queen noticed and raised an eyebrow. "Chain of command issue." "He'll recover," I said. "It builds character." We fought side by side, and somewhere between plasma fire and collapsing bulkheads, I realized the galaxy was wrong about her. Not because she was fierce, that part was obvious, but because she trusted me without hesitation. No tests. No suspicion, just action. When the last pirate fell, the hall was quiet except for humming shields and my heart trying to escape my ribcage. "You didn't hesitate," she said. "Neither did you." She studied me, eyes sharp, ears relaxed now. Most commanders see my scars and assume tragedy. And miss the victories, I said. She laughed then, a real laugh, and it echoed through the damaged hall. The galaxy avoids us because I remind them of war. I lowered my weapon. The galaxy avoids mirrors too. Her expression softened, something unguarded slipping through. Outside, my fleet finished mopping up, pirates scattering like bad ideas under scrutiny. You should leave, she said quietly. Association with me brings consequences. I considered that, then I shrugged. So does association with me, ask anyone. For a long moment, we stood there amid wreckage and history, two figures the galaxy had misunderstood in different ways. Commander, she said at last, stay. Not as an obligation, as a choice. I smiled, careful, that almost sounded like respect. She inclined her head. It was. The council chamber was quieter than any battlefield I'd ever stood on, which made it infinitely more dangerous. Representatives from a dozen systems stared at the Queen like her scars might leap off her skin and demand reparations. I stood beside her, hands clasped behind my back, trying very hard not to look like a human who had wandered into the wrong level of galactic politics. This assembly questions your legitimacy, droned a silver-robed delegate. A ruler marked so visibly by defeat is usually still alive, I said before thinking, which statistically improves leadership odds. A ripple of murmurs spread through the chamber. The Queen closed her eyes for half a second. When she opened them, amusement flickered there. Commander, she said calmly, this is not a briefing room. My apologies, I replied. Force of habit. I get nervous around people who talk that slowly. The delegate bristled. Human, you have no standing here. I rebuilt 3 border fleets you outsourced to mercenaries, I said. Also, I brought snacks. I held up a ration bar. No one laughed. The Queen did quietly. She stepped forward then, long ears lifting, posture straight. You see scars and assume loss, she said. Each mark is a war ended. Each line is a choice to survive instead of surrender. If that disqualifies me, then your empires are ruled by cowards with perfect skin. Silence fell, heavy and absolute. The council voted, not unanimously, nothing ever was, but enough. Recognition, trade restored. The first step toward something resembling respect. Later, on a balcony overlooking her capital, the Queen stood beside me, armor removed, the weight of ceremony finally gone. The city lights reflected off old scars like constellations mapping her life. You spoke for me, she said. You didn't have to. I know, I replied. Turns out I wanted to. She studied me, the way one might examine an unfamiliar star. When you arrived, you were a commander who believed in winning. And now you believe in understanding.